this is actually really interesting because you actually convert the idea of meditation, you know, because meditation should actually calm us down, and this whole culture of mindfulness that we shouldn't be stressed about our life. And suddenly Loretta Lau comes and try to set people's mind in this set of feeling the massacre and feeling the strong emotion of people who actually experience that situation, this trauma situation. It's almost hypnotic. It's like a hypnosis. So that's really interesting. Do you use that kind of techniques as well? I mean, psychological techniques or hypnotics techniques.
I think that's true, and I think that's why I really consider that to acknowledge our painfulness is very important, because if if we don't know, or if we don't really recognize our emotion, that's the it's the reason why that we feel so far away from people. I think this is the major idea. That's why I want people to actually can see pain, or actually can feel different emotion. For example, like anger or like sorrow in the arts, or like actually it's, you can say maybe it's even not arts, but for me, that's when you close your eyes and you create some image, or you create your emotion, is the sharing of actually, let's say, the collective idea. Like I think very it's very true that, like, I somehow also want to say that when even we are closing our eyes, that we can still see the visual image. I think this is also why I think the audience that's supposed to be part of the art, and a lot of time they're just seeing the art itself, but they're not creating. But then how you can make them to create art in a very short time? Then I think that's what I want to tell. That's this kind of like, I don't know, like in your mind, like doing art in your mind. Yeah.
Maybe the other word which could describe you, it's medium, you know. Maybe that's the wider description of your actions, that you actually allow to feel people, this universal, I don't know, connection. Yesterday we were preparing synthesizers, and we were trying to close up the electronic loop with our hands, and that's how we created actually electricity. So maybe that's what actually connect us, you know, the community, like common emotions that we actually can express whenever we are in the world.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would say I'm a little bit quite spiritual person. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think like all the artists that, yeah, like maybe you have heard that Ai Weiwei have been saying that all the artists, they supposed to be advocates, like they're activists. Then I think it's also related that, like, we are here to convey ideas. So even, I mean, a medium that they are conveying ideas from the souls. That's also some of my arts that quite a lot of my arts actually conveying this, actually sharing the ideas of the people who deceased, and also I'm paying tribute to those people, because I think this is also very significant for us to actually connect. Uh, uh, how could I tell? Yeah, it's very interesting that I I really consider like people, they are having like their lives, but then they are not disappearing in the life now, but then they became some kind of, yeah, of course, some kind of like energy, let's say. Then and also maybe sometimes in the dreams that you can feel something. That's I think that's also why that I'm also like doing a lot of things connected to the Second World War, and also the people who deceased in the Hong Kong movement, and I want people to understand that they are not yet past until people forget them.
Another question I would like to ask you is because you were telling a little bit about the sexism that you also experienced while you were in Prague, and you as a political and democracy activist, for sure, you are the person who try to provoke people and to say something which is uncomfortable to a lot of them. So have you experienced such, I don't know, physical and language harassment in your life, in your like due to your artistic actions?
If you afraid or you have this kind of fear to stop your your exhibition or your performance, that as you say, that art should provoke people, or art should make people to rethink of what is in the reality. But also, if that make people to kind of like approach me in a very kind of like not appropriate way, that I would say I would just let it be. And if it's not really threaten my life, that I will not, really bother. And if you really, as an artist, that if you just keep looping that, oh, I might did something wrong, or like I might kind of in danger, that you can't move on. So I just let it.
Okay. So what kind of really risky activity did you do uh, in your artistic career? Could you like give us an example of that?
So there was one performance was called the Yellow Object, and so I put a table, and then like the paintball gun, and then like the pepper spray, and also some torture, and then like some like weapons that the police can do it against the protester. And then I dress up like a protester. I just have like a mask, and then I just put up like a slogan saying that if not now, when, something like this. And then so I stand there for 1 hour to actually let people to do whatever to me. So maybe for you, if you're an artist, or like if you know some art history, then you might think about Abramovich. And I kind of like, we use this idea onto the Hong Kong movement. And actually it was screening also something behind, said that you are the police and you are having this amount of salary, and what will you do to me as a protester? And I was like actually waiting for people to, attack me. But honestly, I was very lucky at that night, and no one was doing anything really against me. But then someone was shooting against the wall, and some other protester, some other maybe art students, they came standing next to me for the whole show, actually. So this is, I think, the most risky thing that I did.
National security law also brings the like new forces who are meant to take care of the people who are too danger to the system. That's the actual idea of this law, right?
Yeah. So anything you do, like actually fight for freedom, or like fight against the regime, or even you just spoke a language of like you don't like Xi Jinping as the president, or like you just send a message to your friends and family, that's because they always, monitoring you, like in the internet and everywhere, that you just say something about you are not satisfying about the communist China, that could be offended the national security law, like everything. So as an artist, that and also everybody just kind of like started to not doing something kind of political, especially in Hong Kong, because like right now I am doing things overseas that I still kind of feel safe. But if you're in Hong Kong, if you just say one thing, that's the police can just knock on your door and then just throw you into the jail. So that's more or less applied to everybody.
Okay, so what's the right now condition of Boiling Frog? Is it alive still?
It's really tough question because like a lot of people say that Hong Kong died, but I still believe that Hong Kong people are still living in our truth, in our hearts. As we can't do protests in the street, but we keeping this in our heart until the day came. So that's why I think the Hong Kong people in Hong Kong, in the land, they are very important. But the other thing is the Hong Kong people, they are overseas. They're doing things. They're still spreading this idea of democracy. It's very important. So if you maybe remember this movie, Wall-E.
Wally?
Yeah, Wall-E. Yeah. So
Pixar animation,
yeah,
Wally.
yeah. So the planet itself died already. Then, Wall-E and a lot of people, they are in the spaceship in overseas. And then one day, if there is a little spout, come back. And then the Hong Kong people will come back to Hong Kong.
All right. So my last question is concerning this, what you actually perceive as the democracy which you actually searching for and fighting for, because I think that we were so focused on in this talk on your fighting for freedom, on your democracy actions, but still you try to build with your art this sense of tenderness. It's really important to you to give the people tenderness. So how do you actually understand that tenderness, and how would you like to give this tenderness to the people?
Well, I mean, I always talk about freedom and democracy, but the democracy that right now we are having and the freedom that right now we are having is still not that ideal. And even, for example, in Czech Republic, that even it's already been like 33 years of democracy, and we still kind of not satisfied. And even in the US, even in the UK, everywhere we're still really not satisfied of our life. And we just feel like, and even in Hong Kong, I mean, like before the movements that is still kind of like democratic. I would say there is always an improvement of humanity. It's always an improvement of this system. And for me, yeah, like tenderness and sometimes even like silence, it's very important. And for us to really calm down and to rethink that what is the ideal system of everybody, because there is not just democracy and communism. There is still a lot of like future type of governing, let's say. I wouldn't say there is no need of governments, but I would say there's supposed to be a better future and all the people should have voice inside and not eventually being manipulated. The future, it's for the people, and we all have responsibility on our future.
Okay,
It's,
so
it's very difficult, very difficult.
all right. So thank you, Loretta, once again, and so feel free now to prepare your performance. We're really, really interested. What will you show us?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, and you guys are so great, and standing and sitting on the corner, and thanks to you, thanks so much to you guys. Thank you.